Okay, so good evening to everyone. And today's series is going to be a continuation from the admin center. And I think that today we'll give it a different approach. The major parts of the admin centers we have covered. So from up here, we've done Copilot, users, then we've done inside users, we did like a lot of things already. And then roles, we have actually demystified roles already when we're differentiating between roles and licensing. So for admin unit, we'll treat this when we get to Entra. For resources, we'll treat this when we get to Exchange. So we're going to look at marketplace. Marketplace, like the name implies, is a market where you go to buy M365 products in your environment. And that name is like very, very fine. So if you are a billing administrator, you also see marketplace. So if you come to marketplace, you see recommended products. So these are like products that are being recommended to you for Exchange Online Plan 2, Exchange Online Plan 1, Microsoft projects. All these are standalone licensing that are being suggested to you. Discover what else your business needs with Teams Essential. They're just like showing you general things that you need to know. But if you want to buy a license, you come inside that marketplace. You don't go with the recommended just in case it's not here in the list. But that's when you go to all products. So if you come to all products, you are truly going to see all products. Now, if you look at all products, you would see that you still have recommended products, right? Which are like the business standard license, the business basic license, the exchange online plan 1, the same thing that they've suggested to you. You have the M365 apps for business. And then when you come down, you can click on see the recommended so that the other ones can also follow through from the base. So you see it is here, OneDrive for Business Plan 1. These are just like what was suggested to you, like when you were here also, right? But if you want to look for license that are just M365, if you click on M365, it will bring up only M365 related license to you. This is like you are filtering the system, right, to give you what you're looking for. Then if you want to, let's say you want licenses around Windows, and then you don't want for Microsoft 365, you just remove this, and then it will just show you here. You have Windows 10/11 E3, Windows 10, 11, like that. Everything you have here is going to be Windows because what you searched or you have filtered to become Windows. And then now, if you also want collaboration and communication related licenses, so you just click on this and uncheck Windows, and then what you have is what you have here, right? So if you come to recommended, for example, and you see business standard, right? You will see trial available here. The ones that have trial, you see trial available, but it's not all that have trial available. What it means is that you cannot do trial for Exchange Online Plan 1, but you can do trial for business standard. And if you also come here, you will see apps for business, you can do trial. Now, the question is, how do you purchase trial licenses? Now, how you do that is to click on details. So when you click on details, the next thing you're going to do is to drop down here. So choose one from below. You do this, and then you see business standard. This is if you are buying. Then a business 365 standard trial, Microsoft 365 business standard no teams. That is if you don't want to have teams, or M365 business standard no teams, right? Trial. This one is paid, paid, trial. Now let's say I want to do trial of this. I will click on it, and then what it will tell me is to just load this page up. I'll have to now pick up my billing details from the display and then hit on place order and then wait for an email to confirm that in no time. And I can also go to the admin center and assign that license to users as trial. And then if I turn on recurring billing, when the period for the trial ends, then I will be billed. So now what this is saying is that it's going to be supposed to be $12 per user per month. and then the estimated taxes is around 0.94, and then the total payment for annum is 13.44. That is total paid monthly after trial will end. Yes. So after trial ends, then you are going to be paying 13.44, right? But total for today is zero. The reason is because you are purchasing a trial license. So all of this is done. If this card is correct, then the next thing I want to do is to just click on place order. I don't want to place this order. I'm going to send a mail to this card, and it will debit $1 actually and refund the $1 back if I click on place order. But if you don't have a card that is there, you can click on add new, and then you can call the name of the card, right? And then the next thing is that purchase order. Then what you can do, you add new method, and then it will come up with card details where you need to type in your CVV or this in your card display, and then you save it. So once this card is active and it's a dollar card, then you'll be able to do that trial for M365 Business Basic, and then you'll be paying $13 after the trial has ended. But for this first trial that I'm doing, it's going to give me 25 seat counts. So licenses that will be purchased after the trial end, trial include 25 free license. The one I'm doing now includes 25 seat counts. But license that will be purchased after the trial ends, it is here that you will set it. Let's say, for example, you have 5 users. You can say, let it just purchase 5 when the trial will end, right? Or if you want it to be 25 or 30, as the case may be, you can also increase it to say, okay, after the trial has ended, it should give you this. I think this is just 25 also for now. So, but this is how it works. You place your order, and then you have your license, so that when you come back to, like when you come to, we are still under marketplace, right? If you come under marketplace, you have billing. Another billing, you have license. So under this license is where you will see the license you just purchased to just be here, right? To show you, okay, you have 25. Like this one is Copilot for me. I have 25 seat count. I have spent 11 already out of 25, and I'm having 14 licenses left. And that is what is called seat counts, right? I'm having 14 seat count left for me in this organization. So really, having said that, you can also try to look at the other parts of it. So your product is like the licenses you currently have, right? And then there's pretty no difference for me. I've not really observed the difference between your product and the license. Say recently where this is just listing only one license, Copilot, and I'm not sure why it is that. Whether it is my filtering that is making that to happen, I don't know. But honestly, it's supposed to be like everything, active license, pending, expired, and everything that I have was supposed to come here. But I don't know why I have those licenses under licenses, and I only have one in your products. There can be explanation to that from maybe somebody in the billing house, but you can always see them under licensing. Then bills and payments. So what this starts to do is, this is where you actually get to set. So basically, this is saying invoices provided. So if you are looking for, if you paid for licenses and you want to download the invoice, this is where you come to. So invoices provide a summary of your changes and instruction to make payments. Some are generated within 24 hours of buying an individual item. Others are generated at the end of the billing period and include all items from the billing period. So billing period is like if you are buying monthly, at the month end, then you should pay. Or if you are paying yearly, as the year begins, you should pay ahead, and then you should not be using it to know that, okay, by December, your billing cycle is going to end. So that's how it works. Then if you come here is where you see payment methods. So for payment methods, I probably have one now, right, which has even expired. So if I want to add a new card that I should be able to use to purchase without also going through adding it from when you are going to marketplace, you can also come here. This is saying these payment methods are this payment method pay for subscriptions are associated with billing profile. So what you do, you click on add payment method. So when you do add payment method, say add a payment method, new payment method is not automatically pay for your subscription after you add this new one. Assign the subscription to you want to pay for. So now you can, the card holder's name, of course, you know what that is. The card number, of course, the one at the front. The date of expiration, the CVV is the number, the 2 or is it 3 digits at the back of the card. Then address on the card, or the intended, or the owner of the card that is intended to be here as the billing card is also going to be here. So the city, their name, so you can't change the country. And then the next thing you do is to click on save, right? So having said that, the next thing that I want us to do is to go to billing accounts. So if you come to billing accounts, so what you can see is just the overview of the accounts that I have here. So billing accounts manage your purchasing relationship with Microsoft. So this is actually where Microsoft is interacting with. Each billing account contains defining info, right, about your organization, your address, contact info, and any tax info that applies. Purchases made with your billing account are covered by the agreement that you signed with Microsoft. So this is just like the go-to people when it comes to issue of contact and finances in billing or in this. So for payment methods too, payment method is where you have to add the card. It's just still over and around the same thing where you need to add the card. So before now, there used to be option for you to do like invoice method of payment, right? You could actually do that, but what we have at the moment, I think, is only card that is available in our own environment. So billing notification is just speaking to when an issue happen now, who are we going to supposed to contact and give him info. So when we get to organization information, you would also know that the organization information, the technical contact person is whom the contact will be reached out to. If you want to change, let's say the person resigned, and then you want to change the person they need to reach out to, you can just click on this, and then you come here, put a new email address, let's say this, and then you'll be able to sign, you'll be able to save. So if, for example, you're having renewal of licensing, you're having like expiration of licensing, and anything that has to do with license, then you'll be the one to get an email from Microsoft to quickly tell you that this is about to happen in your organization. And if you look at this, we send billing notification email to users assigned global admin or billing administrator role. Now, emails are sent to both primary and alternate email addresses that you will have. Then only global admin can change who is receiving the email. So if you are not a global admin, you will not be able to do this I am doing, because only global admin can say, okay, I want this person to be able to get emails concerning my organization, right? So having looked at the payment method, the cost management is not really very useful here in M365 because your payment is actually on a monthly. But this cost management, I see the effectiveness with Azure subscription, which is not part of our conversation for now. So you can look at what we have. So you can look at what we have and see that this is cost management. This is not really like a very big deal, to be very honest with you. It's not something that you want to trouble yourself about at this point. The next line of action is support. Apologies, just trying to take care of something around. So the next point of action is support, right? After cost management, the next thing you see is support. So support actually is where you raise tickets, not just where you raise tickets. Is a place where you can troubleshoot issues that are happening. So help and support is where you go if there is, let me dismiss this. If there is, for example, issues, I think I would like to close out on this particular one on cost management so that we can see support fully. I'm not sure why cost management is taking over everywhere. So let me just close that out. and come to support. So if I click on help and support, it's actually really going to give me this bounce off by the right hand side, opening this pan. So it will be asking me, how can we help you? Ask your question. Let's say OneDrive not syncing. OneDrive not syncing. Let me see if I have that syncing. Okay, so you see this one here saying OneDrive not syncing. So if I click on OneDrive not syncing now, what it will do is it will go through and then perhaps ask me, so this is saying view inside, fix OneDrive sync issue. If OneDrive isn't syncing the way you or your user expect, use the following resources for troubleshooting. This one is saying fix OneDrive for business sync issues. So if I open this, it's likely going to be like a Microsoft Learn document that would explain to me what I need to do to have that OneDrive sync. So what am I doing? I'm getting help, I'm getting support. So fix workstation, I can do this. If I come to check it, I'm going to see fix or work around for recent issues in OneDrive, right? So this was March 5th, which was about last week. So this is like a very recent document, right? So if care is not taken, it should be this, okay, last week already, well, Sunday. So this is like a new week already on its own. So you would see that you really see that you can use
Okay, it looks like your network is breaking. We can't. I can't hear you from here very clearly. Is this the same with every other person?
Yes, I had a breach. Am I clear now? Confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, very well now.
Okay, I think there was a glitch. Okay, so I was trying to look at die pad missing in Teams, and I'm seeing that you can do this. Die pad missing from Teams. Yeah, this is it. So if I do this now, for example, it will ask me what's the username, right? I know that this is my username here, Joseph at MVP Benefits, MVP Benefits dot on Microsoft.com. So if I put this now and I run, so that means that I can use this to troubleshoot, to run diagnostics against. So if you truly take time to explore this and you are a support engineer, it will really be of a very great help for you. Now it is running the scan, but it is giving me insight while it is scanning through. Die pad is missing from Teams. So it's saying if your die pad is missing in Teams, please check the following. Make sure that the user has been assigned Teams license. Make sure that the user has a calling plan assigned. Enable users for enterprise voice. It was just insight. Now it went into my account and say only Teams online user should expect to see a die pad in Teams in order to enable access to public switch telephony network functionality. For example, information see die pad configuration. Would you like to run diagnostic again? So you can run it. It's not giving like a very nice outcome because it's not telling me that I don't have like the calling plan license, right? So now that is for support, right? So if this doesn't help you for self-help, so you can move on to contact support. So when it comes to contact support, you can go for phone number, you can go for emails. So whichever you are going for, the next thing you do is just to set the time zone, your time zone, just so the agent will know when you what you want them to do for you. So once these contacts are completed, you put die pad missing. If you want to put a description, detailed description, you can type more description here. And even if you have like screenshots, you can come down here and say add screenshots. And then the next thing you are doing is to come to your PC and you pick up a picture, I mean the screenshot. If there is a file, you can pick it up and then you upload it there and then you click on contact me. I won't click on this because if I do in the next 2, 3, 4 IS or 5, 10 minutes, you will see that Microsoft is already calling me to say what is the issue with my iPad. Can you share your screen? Let's have the replacement. I mean, let's have a reflection on how that can be fixed. So that is for help and support. I'm looking for help and support here. So view service request. This view service request is where you would see the ticket that you have raised, right? And when last they worked on it. This is the ticket. And if the ticket is active, you will see active. If it is closed and feedback was provided, you will see feedback. So it will always be there. The detail of the case, I keep getting the error when I went to buy DDDDD is just there. You can see that the guy has been sending emails back and forth. We have been looking at it. So these are like the details of the conversations that we were having. These are the emails that were sent to me. Thank you for reaching out. So these emails can actually be tracked here as well as the inbox of the recipient of these users the inbox of the recipient of this message, right? To say no, we are doing this on the case, we are doing that on the case. This is coming out of the fact that you have a ticket raised with Microsoft, right? So this is how it works. I would share this with a dedicated team and get back to you with the update shortly and all of those things. So this is how cases look. And for those of you who want to work as support engineer, this is what you are going to be doing. I think it was in Nigeria, Mario that picked this case first. And then as discussed, share the screenshot of the error so we can add dedicated team to it. So this is where you really can go to service request to view the service request that you have raised before. So if you pick any one of them, like you have a detail of what transpired why that ticket was raised. Then customer logbox request. So sometimes you want to copy file to your cloud storage, but the files are too big, right? If the files are too big, people actually request Microsoft to send logbox down with hard drive or storage space. You will copy those files locally to those drive and ship it down to Microsoft. So if you have an active or open customer logbox request, then the reference number is going to be here. The date that you requested Microsoft to upload your data to their interface. They're actually on site also. They can copy and paste in that cloud where they are. Now you are here far away from the servers. So if you are sending those files to them locally, for them to be able to go into the Dropbox, carry the file and upload them to your repository there at Microsoft Shop or Microsoft Data Center, then that is what is called Dropbox. So, lockbox. So this is what happens when, this is where you track the progress of that, the requester, and then the action or the status of the request that you have made. So this is just like tracking service request, tracking logbox, and then Microsoft Office support. This is basically for some Microsoft Office. There are Surface hubs. So if you raise support with them, they are going to be listed in a different place within your tenant. So, but what I wanted to quickly grab out of here is the help and support part of it, and then the view service request is very important. For logbox is rare. For Surface Hub, it can be something that people do, but it's not very, very common as well. So the next point that I think we will spend some time to look at is setting. And the first point in setting is domain. So for domain, if you want to understand domain really is, let me just search for paint. If I bring up my paint to this screen, most time you hear the word. Okay, when you create a tenant, if the name of your tenant is Pillars Concepts, when you create that tenant, it's going to be, your domain is going to be concepts.onmicrosoft.com. But Microsoft is giving you this domain as like a support to you because they need the domain to operate. But this is what we are giving you for now. If you now feel that your business should be known, not tied to Microsoft, but on Microsoft, you can now go for pillarsconcepts.com. You can also go for pillarsconcepts.org, or go for pillarsconcepts.co.za, for example, and so on. It can be .com.ng, right? So all this can happen. So this now will distinguish you from the fact that, yes, you can't delete this one. This is called the default domain. You can't delete it. But if you add this, and you verify that they are yours, you can really delete them if you don't need any of them anymore. So domain is that's unique identifier to your own environment, right? So that if we see your name, so this is just to make like a disclaimer for people whom, when you are applying for a job in a company and the company name is bearing maybe Adisa Global, for example, right? And then you'll be expecting that when you are getting a mail from them, it should be coming from maybe it should be coming from Benga at adisaglobal.com. Now the at here, right, after this at is actually what is called the domain, right? So if you are hearing the word domain is .com, right? .ng. It can be .com, .ng, .co.za. They are called the top level domain. So for example, if you are supposed to be having this and you are having something like Benga at gmail.com, people will doubt, this guy, are you sure you're ready for business? You are using Gmail, and then you want to provide services to me from Benga. You want to provide services from Adisa Global. I would expect that I should be seeing adisaglobal.com. That is like the maximum, or at the minimum, I should be seeing .com. .com.ng or but why are you bearing at gmail.com? Associating yourself again with Gmail does not make sense. And especially if you are now going to give like an M365 role to somebody and you are using Gmail to send them, they can really, really doubt your credibility and efficiency, especially in this kind of days where people are getting scammed in the name of getting jobs, right? People can suspect that, no, this is not possible, right? So that is for domain, like what domain means generally, without going out of or going into any technicality. Now, if you click on domains, now that we've gotten like a background of how domains should look, you will see that you have MVP benefit on Microsoft.com is healthy, and this is like the first domain that came when I created this account. I'm still going to close that, right? That was the domain that came. So as time progressed, I bought another domain and I call it pillarscloud.com.ng, right? And I also look at this aluta.com. So if I come here now, let's say I want to buy another domain and then I want to see tmcc.com. I'll just put tmcc.com so that people in my environment who are working on the TMCC project are just going to be bearing at tmcc.com. And I say it's fine. I can say use domain. Now the point is that I will need to verify that I am the owner of the domain by supplying the text record, right? I don't want to sound like highly technical, but there's what is called the TXT records, where you have to copy and go and put it in the website where you bought that domain to truly verify that you have access to that place and you also have access to this. So now, if you've done that, you do continue. So if you do continue, the next point is that it wants to give you those values. And let me just quickly see if I can assign into Domain King right now. Domain King. Okay, so I think I'll just quickly get in a bit. So while that is loading up, I will drag it here first. So now what is requiring you is that you say you are the owner of tmcc.com, no problem. Now copy this link and go to where you say you host this domain, and then put the details there. I don't know, my sign-in is failing. So, and put the details there. If it does not open, I'll just leave that particular part. Okay, I think I'm in now. So for example, this is it. I'll have to now come to my domains, right? Depending on the platform that you bought your domain from. So if you come there now, what you do, this is pillarsconcept.com.ng, right? And then this is pillarscloud.com.ng is active. So if I click on manage, let's say for example, I am adding this domain afresh. I've clicked on manage. I don't know why or what it is waiting for. Okay, I think it's here now. Currently unblocked. So I don't mind all this thing. But what I want to look at is the manage DNS sec record. Manage DNS, right? So you click on manage DNS. Thinking quickly that it should be where we want to enter our details. Yeah, good. That is it. So now it will tell me that I'll now say, okay, I want to add record to this. Now, what kind of record am I adding? I will come here. If I say, okay, I want to add TXT record, TXT record. Now the question, the next thing that it is asking me is that what is their name and what is their data for the TXT record. Now the data is now the data I am copying from here, which is my TXT record. Once I copy this TXT record, I put it inside the domain provider's end by pasting that which I copied here, and then I click on confirm. So what will happen is that it will proceed and process that domain that I have supplied. And then if it is okay, I can click on verify. So if it is not correct, it will never work. Then if it is not correct, it will give me like one warning to say that I should hold on. Now look at it. We didn't detect that you add a new record to tmcc.com. Make sure the record you created at your host exactly matches the record shown here. If it does, please wait for the system to detect the changes and try again. That's what it's saying. But I did not supply this, so this error will never go away. But then that tmcc.com will be among the domain that is here. But what is it going to say? Incomplete setup. So I cannot use it to do anything, right? I can either remove it or wait to set up again, right? So if I come here, for example, now what is very important is if I come to this .onmicrosoft.com and I click on here, you can see that it's only refreshed. I see I'm trying to check something. If I come to this one, yes, you will see that I have removed domain. Why can I not remove the .onmicrosoft.com? It is because it is a default domain that Microsoft associated with this tenant, and I cannot delete it. But I can delete Aluta, I can delete TMCC, right? So of course I can just come here and say remove, and then I'll say remove domain, and then it's gone. TMCC is not going to be there again. If I refresh, right, it's not going to be there anymore. It is gone. Now, if I come to look for Pillars Cloud, I can also delete it if it's giving me a headache, right? Or Aluta, I can delete it. But if you look at pillarscloud.com, it is showing confirm identity, right? Similarly, MVP benefits, which is like the default domain, is also here without any form of problems. So this is how to add domain to M365 and how to remove domain from M365. If you want to manage, you can manage the DNS record, and then all that will just happen, the DNS record is just going to be what you are going to add to your domain provider's page to confirm that really you are the owner of the domain and nothing more. with that. Okay. So we've looked at domain, and then the next thing is search intelligence. I want to say search intelligence is not like very important topic for this conversation, right? For me, there are things here that we can also overlook. But if you look at the Welcome to Microsoft Search Intelligence, Search and Intelligence, you can look at insights just so you can see what happens with search and intelligence, and then the user analytics, the query. So this is more like for people who are interested in finding out what has been going on, especially in the advent of artificial intelligence. Now, having said that, that's for search intelligence. One other place very important is the organization setting, and this cannot be overemphasized. It is very, very important. If you look at it, it is talking about a lot of things, and then I will just go to one place that is very important. So I check on forms, right? So for forms, send link to form and collaborate responses, share to collaborate on the form with external user, right? Share the form as a tangible, send the form as a template that can be duplicated. Now, these things are very nice, right? So, but where it becomes a bit hectic is that if you did not know that you have turned it off from the device, from the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and you are trying to troubleshoot forms from forms.office.com, you will enter into a lot of problems. Now, that's for Microsoft Forms. You can also try to do some settings as regards Microsoft Teams when it comes up, but just note that Microsoft Teams is going to be like a very big deal. To turn on Microsoft Teams for all users. If you want that, you want to exempt some people from having Teams, you want to do that, but I'm not sure you want to truly alter that. So allow guests in Teams. If we turn it off from here, you like go turn it off from another place, it will still be referencing back to this place. So it's important that we give the right settings to our environment. So, but one thing that is so important to me to mention here is the multi-factor authentication here. So if I come to multi-factor authentication here, it's actually going to see that multi-factor authentication provides second layer of security to sign in this. So if you click on this configure multi-factor authentication, it will take you to one very weird admin center that you can configure what you want your organization to have. I think it's now taking me to Entra. I wasn't expecting to take me to Entra because the last time I checked, the place it took me to was really weird, right? So at this point is per user MFA. That is, you know what that means, to enable MFA and enforce it for only one user. So you can tell him to use MFA settings, right? So I'm supposed to see this enforce and disable here. Okay, I think what I have here is enabled. I just want to do it on these three. And then if I click on this external, I can just say enable MFA, and then to tell me if your user do not regularly sign into web, send him this link, and then I'll just enable it. What it means is that this person is trying to sign in now to say more information required about you, but we can truly use conditional access policy to configure multi-factor authentication, which is even the required option. So that's for configure multi-factor authentication, and then bringing us all to all users and per user MFA, just so that you can select the user that you want to assign the MFA to or multi-factor authentication to. So that is for, so that we don't stress it too much. That is for configure multi-factor authentication, right? So apart from this that you would see under organization settings, if you see scroll down, you will see reports. So report is actually where you set how you want your display to be. If you want your report to display the names correctly in English language, you will leave it like this. But if you want it to display in a way that is just numerical and it requires expertise to be able to decode your reports, you can just say concealed report. So what this is going to do for you is that you see this is going to go to concealed report for you. So let's say something. Let's just quickly leave here now and come to reports. I come to reports. So let me just come to Copilots. I'm just trying to look for like a place where we can. So I think this is the place I would like to come to. I will come to usage reports, for example, right? If I come to usage reports, and then what I want to do is you look at this report. If I scroll down, right, and then click on and then I just want to view like the report itself and see the name of those people that are actually having issues with actually having interaction with our application. So first of all, I want to put it at Copilot 365. Let me specify the application. I think that's the best thing I'll do. If I come to usage, right, for my usage, I will see, I'm looking for, yeah, I will see the names of the users. Benga, all of them like that. Rafia, John, all of it, Evans, all of that. Lab guy, fine. But if I come back to settings, right, and I come to org settings, and I come to report, remember that's where we are. If you come down to reports, if I come to reports, and then I click on concealed reports, and then I save. If I go back to reports now, here, I go back to reports. Where are you? Yeah, and I come to usage reports. And inside usage reports, it's not clicked yet. Yeah, inside usage reports, I want to look at Copilot again. If I come now, you would see something very different. It is not going to be displaying the name. So it's just displaying the user name in a concealed form. So that is what concealed report is going to be doing for you. And it's important when you want to encrypt information about user, or you want to anonymize. I think that's the right way. You want to anonymize a user, you can actually use the concealed reports. So back to org settings. So inside org settings, you would actually see that we also have other portions there. The pay-as-you-go services, the reports, the sway, and all of that. Now, what's important to us is the security and privacy, and this is very, very, very key. Now, this, for example, the things that are important is what we're pointing out to you. You can also go look at the other one. Now, password expiration policy is very important. So password expiration policy speaks to how many days ago do you want your present users to have access before their passwords are required for change, right? So you can truly just say, like the recommended Microsoft believes that changing password by users every day or every time or regularly can make them to resort to be using weak passwords. So they just want to hold their password permanently. But then again, there's an argument to say that it's not good just in case a user's account has an issue or something. Now, that's why it is checked and then set password never to expire by default. But if you check this, you're going to have days here. So I just want to make it increase the number and see what number we have there. So we have 14 days, right? The days before expiration, right? We have between 14 days and 730 days, right? So you can decide to say your password expires every 30 days, and then you are good. You just click on save, and then it's just at that 1 week to that time, you start getting emails that your password will soon expire, and then you just change. Otherwise, you can decide to remove it. Like, I want to do this and say my password should never expire, and I want to stick to Microsoft recommendation. That's what it means. So that is for password policy, right? I think one other very important place is also sharing policies. So you can set sharing policy, let user add new guests to your organization. So if you want to block people from adding guests to your organization, you can just turn it off from here. And then if you just uncheck this and then you save it, what it means is that let user add guests to your organization is now no. They will not be able to add people to it, which is not like a very, very best practice, because this is even saying that when this setting is selected, all users can add people outside of your organization when it is selected, though, so they appear on the guest user list. But once you deselect this, then you don't have any invitation for guest users. So that's for that. And then privacy profile too is something that is not very big for you to consider. You know, when you have a website where you put your privacy profile, you can, your privacy detail, you can copy the URL and put it here. Let's say, for example, you have it in a drive, you can just put the link to that drive, and then this can be seen by the people using using services within your organization. Then what is still here? Privilege access, set scope. So PIM, I'm sure that if it is PIM that this is trying to look at, we will look at this definitely from the Entra Admin Center when we are looking at that. So what's the next point? Pronouns. So do you want to allow pronoun in your environment? I'm not sure this is it's a very big deal. So if you want people to be using word, the he, she in their teams and all of that, you can turn that on. Then SSPR, right? SSPR is very important. So what this does is that it will allow non-administrator to be able to recover their password if they eventually cannot sign into their environment. And this actually is required so that users will not be able, will be able to set their password, but it will be a caveat of if they are able to provide the security checks that were initiated when they were setting up the self-service password reset. For example, what city was your mother born? So all of those things. Then what's the name of your best friend, or what's the name of the organization you're working now? So all of that can be like security questions. They can be emailed to third-party mailbox to confirm that you are truly the person that you say you are. And then it can be called to phone too, can also be there to say that, okay, call my phone to see that I am truly the person. But SSPR will generally reduce support costs and help your users to be more self-sufficient by allowing them to register for self-service password reset. After a user registers, they will no longer need to contact your administrator to reset their password, right? So that is what it does. So user importance. So after you turn this on, users will be asked to contact information, or for contact information the next time they sign in. When a user needs to reset their password, we'll use this information to send them a code they can use to confirm their identity, then choose a new password. So that is speaking to what I was just trying to mention. That is what SSPR is all about. So just in case you hear the word SSPR, it's not like a word out of the moon. It's just like a normal word that we are supposed to be looking at. So I do system timeouts. Also, if you have your account signed in now, and then I want it that if you are not attending to your browser, if you are not working after 1 hour, or I want to customize it to say after some, let's see how many minutes they will give us here. Okay, I'm not sure there is. So between 5 and 1440, you can decide to set a time to say if you are no longer attending to your work, this thing should sign you out. So I do system timeouts, user automatically, signs user out automatically of the M365 web app after a period of inactivity. If you turn this on, users in your organization may start seeing may start seeing more signing prompts. So if you do that, signing is going to be everywhere, right? If you set up this and you save it. So having looked at timeout, support query collaboration, that's not a big deal. So Microsoft Graph Data Connect application. So the next point within here, I haven't looked at like the main important point, is sharing the self-service password reset, the pronoun, the privilege access was not properly looked at just because it is covered within the scope of rules, right? So the next point is organization profile. So organization profile is where you customize how you want your organization to look. For example, if I have this now, and then I'm trying to sign in. I'm trying to sign in now to see what organization profile looks like, right? Okay, I'm going for this admin at now look at something that you will see. You see that it is my face that is showing background, and then you can see this logo here. It is what is here. But if I want to sign into another environment, let's say the same thing, I'm going to do this new in private, and then I'm going to do office.com, right? And this time, I hope it's not just going to sign me in as that guy. If it does, I'll just okay, cool. So I want to do this so you can see the difference very soon. You'll see this. It is supposed to be, if I do my branding, it is going to be this. But can you see what I have here and here? And also this one is saying, welcome to Pillars Concepts. We are dedicated to helping humans to their zenith. So this is like hidden here. And this one is just Microsoft traits without any form of customization. So that is what organizational branding actually means. And there you can actually do a lot. Custom theme, you can decide to customize the theme for the organization and just add a theme and then prevent users from overriding this theme. And then you can really do a lot. And then you can set the logo. If you want to bring it on, the color, you can also choose to do that. And then when you are done, you click on save, right? Now, you see custom tier, you see data location. So data location, see where Microsoft stores your data for each service that you use. So for each service you use, you're going to see that my Microsoft Copilot is stored in European Union. My exchange is saved also in EU, and all of them are saved in EU for me, even though my tenant is in Nigeria. Okay. So that is for cost, that is for what's it called? Data location, right? Then help desk information. This is where you actually put your contact email where they can, if Microsoft want to contact you, just in case like this email, this place get blocked, and then you are requesting for access back to it. If you follow another tenant to raise ticket to Microsoft, they can verify that this is like the real person that you are and see how they can exchange information with you. So streamline user support by adding your organization contact information to the Microsoft Help pane. It will appear beneath default help topics. So I think if you enter those details here too, your end users will also have access to it. So keyboard shortcuts. So you can also say add a user, right? You should just know that it is shift A plus U. Shift AU is reset, is add user. I don't know how that's going to be. Let's see how we can quickly look at that. I'll just duplicate this. I've not done that myself. I'm just going to do a duplicate of this. So that let's go back to this and see. So we say below are the shortcuts available in the admin center. You may use this shortcut on the page mentioned below to speed up your your workflow. Add user, reset password, shift. I will actually do it. So add user is shift AU. So let's come here. So if I come to, for example, if I come to active users, and then I do shift AU, right? Oh, that's interesting. I've not done that before myself. So I press shift plus A plus U, and then the next thing is I'm having option to create a user. I think I've just learned something very new, right? So yes, I want to close that. I don't want to create any user. Now I want to come back to where we are here. So it means that shift RP is reset password. I think this makes sense. Oh, I understand the lyrics now. So add user, shift AU, that is shift add user, reset password, shift RP. Makes sense. Then add contact, shift add contact. Then add teams and groups, Shift AG. Wow. Then universal shortcuts, search, Alt S, and then see all available shortcuts, Shift question mark. Let's do Shift question mark from here. Let me just see what happens. Shift question mark. So inside of here is not working, but let me come back to the admin center here. I say Shift question mark. It's still taking me to the same place. Okay, so cool. So let's say reset password. I think is what's that again? I'll just do Shift question mark. I will see the details and saying that Shift AU, Shift RP, right? So reset password, Shift RP. So let's come here and then let's say Shift RP. Shift RP. So it's just giving me now, select the user that you want to change the password for. So I think that makes sense for us to look at, where is that place again? Keyboard shortcuts. Even though there are not very many, but at least the basic things that we do, we still see them. Multi-tenant collaboration. Enable user in your organization to collaborate seamlessly with external collaboration setting. So organization information, this is very, 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 very important. This is where you put the details for your organization, put in the phone number, put in the contact, technical contact person. This is what I was telling you when we're talking about billings. So for billings, you can actually from there add this, but whatever email you are adding here is going to reflect under your billings. And then you can choose the language that you want that you speak or that you want to be contacted with. So when you are done making any changes, then you can click on save. And then this will just update. But one thing to mention out here also as an outlier is the fact that state of, country or region is always at this point you can't change it, right? So if you must change this country or region, then you must have what's called business justification, because every country has its own data regulation compliance, right? And then shifting base is actually not going to be palatable at most instances. That's why it is grayed out, except you want to raise like special requests, and then they will even tell you how many of those requests can be available within a year or two. So they'll just make a general announcement to say if you want to change your profile from this to this, you have to file a case for this. So that's if there's a possibility to do that for you at an instance in time. So that's for organization info, and that's very important. So for organization info is where you can also change the name of your organization. Let's say you rebranded, you can actually come here and change this name, right? You rebranded to something different. This is where you can, once you change the name, you click on save, just in case you're working and there's a rebranding of your organization and you're looking for where to save the name. So release preferences is just speaking to how you want to pick updates of products. And then if you look at it, let's just look at it briefly. So choose how your organization gets new features and services, right? Updates, the update services from Microsoft 365. The setting doesn't affect how the M365 apps such as Word, Excel, and new feature update. To choose this, so you can be on standard. So if you're on standard for your organization, your entire organization gets update when Microsoft release them broadly. That is when everything is available. Then targeted release for everyone. Your entire organization gets update early before they're even circulated. Then target release for selected people. You can actually select some persons that would pick people to receive updates early preview and then before they release to everyone. So if you put it here, I don't know, it's supposed to now give us option to add people. Yeah, this is it. So it's supposed to now pick people that you want to add to the list or upload the list, the CSV list of the users, so that when there is a change, they will first of all be the one to get, let's say your IT guys, you can just click here and bring in your IT guys that are supposed to be testing release for Microsoft before you can finally roll it out to other users. So I'm supposed to type in the name of the user here. So who would you want to target for target release? So I may want to just pick like one or two persons that will just be the people I will save, right? And then what this means is that those two users are always going to be getting updates before any of my user would have had access to this, would have tested. So pick up people that will receive updates early to preview them before they release to everyone. So, but I just want it to be standard. So that is what you see in release preference. Then send email notification from domain. So you may just want to also come here and then let Microsoft send notification message from an email address within your organization instead of Microsoft default external email address. Of course, you can actually put in a new, this is a default email because at this point, this was the domain that created the tenant, and no reply at this is just what is going to be sending email notification. So let Microsoft send notification message from the email address within your organization instead of Microsoft default external email address. So you can just do this and then change it, save it so that the updates start coming from there. So support integration, integrate your internal support tool with Microsoft 365. So if you have like internal support, daily support tools, you can actually add them to this place as well, just so they can be of support to Microsoft in order to be able to better support you. Because if you go to help and support, maybe you have limitation and you have a solution that your system will always help to diagnose, you can actually do that. So while we are about to round off, I will just say that is all about organization setting. And then for Microsoft 365 backups, it's a new feature for backing up files. Then for the integrated app is if you have a third-party app, then discovery sync errors. So if I'm running a sync on this thing and it is here that I will see if there are errors within the sync. So select an error to view the to view and resolve it. So this is where you see that, and then partner relationship if you do have any, and then you see but you have Microsoft Edge and so on. So for the other ones, when we come again by next time, we are going to be continuing from setup, and then we'll look at reports and adoption, usage, report, organization, message, and then health. Health is very important when we are discussing. Then message center, the product feedback, network connectivity. We'll look at the ones that are very key there. Then we can look at the admin centers that are available, just so we can say we are done with the M365 admin center page, and then we can prepare for core technologies like SharePoint and like that. So that will be all that we can take today, because we're already behind. I mean, will I say we've already spent more than what we have allotted for this training already, and I hope that we're going to meet again next week. Thank you very much.